sucks with this. You like that, don't you?
That's it.
That's this is the Max Out playlist. Just wait till it hits.
You've taken all my doubts away, replaced it with a shame. You took away all my problems. Yeah, you bet. And then you gave me a brand new start.
All right, so Savage Not Average Barbell podcast is back with Mr. Travis Elliott. And old school, me and yesterday or the other day when we did the podcast with me, Bacon, and Cody, we pretty much determined that Travis was probably the fifth member ever here at AMP.
Yeah.
It was Cody, Shay, Jordan, Kelly, the little kids, and then pretty sure Colton, and it was like Travis. But Colton doesn't count because he was like he was training here, coaching.
Yeah.
So Travis, welcome back. You're back in Mobile.
Hey, brother. Yeah, back from Mardi Gras.
Immediately,
as soon as I realized we were going to take a trip down, it's like I've got to get back into AMP and see the growth of this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So the gym has come a long way, my friend.
It really has.
Hope that thing's fine. I'm gonna spit.
No, you're good. You're good. I got it right here. You're
I'm gonna
good.
spit right into this.
You're
thing.
good. Nope. You're good, bro. So what? So yeah, Mardi Gras. Everybody comes back in town for Mardi Gras. A lot of people probably don't know what Mardi Gras is, and
well, better yet, a lot of people don't realize that this is where Mardi Gras started.
Yeah, for sure.
I had to learn that when I moved down here for work.
You think it's all New Orleans because it's crazy, but everything started here in Mobile, the original. So you're back from Mardi Gras. You came in, trained for a couple of days. You'll train probably tomorrow or Monday before you leave. Correct. But let's kind of first let's talk about when you came back to the gym, because you were here when we had the Titan racks, and I think we had just gotten maybe the Titan bumper plates. You were probably here when we just had the red plates, but you were definitely here when we were moving things around, different variations down there as we were growing. And then you came up here for a little while when we moved initially, and then COVID hit. You moved, you started doing more bodybuilding stuff, but like, tell me when you walked into the gym from not being back in two years or so,
2 or 3
what
years.
you thought of the facility, because it's been, like I said, 2 years since you've seen everything, and it's grown so much since that time.
I think it's been 3. So roll it back to when we were down there, before the wall was even painted.
Yeah.
Right? So I came in and you had a few Titan racks where it was like a powerlifting platform.
Yeah.
Basically, if you wanted to do chain squats, Jefferson squats, whatever it was. And then you had basically a CrossFit setup for mats and bars and bumpers.
Yeah.
And I think maybe like a 6-spot ring on the wall.
Yeah.
Rig on the wall, I'm sorry.
When we first started, we just had the one. No, I think it was like 3 or 4, because remember, then probably a year later, we went to Atlanta and got the other rig, and then we made it like a double decker where it came out wider.
Right, yeah. So, because you had, did you curse on this? Do you guys
we don't give.
Because you had fuck stick down there in the corner.
Yeah, we had Burton, Kung Fu Man.
Which, I like the guy a lot, but he was down there whooping ass with kids doing Taekwondo, so he had half your space taken.
Yeah.
So, came back, and then, like I said, we went to Atlanta, picked up the long rig, the original old school Verse Hyper.
Yeah.
I think that. What else we got?
I think you got a bunch of those old Milo books.
Yeah, Iron Grip, or God, what are they called?
They're the Milo books. That's what they were. Yeah.
They have like a term, but yeah. So walking in, and I've seen some of like the social media growth, but like walking in and recognizing it came from literally like 6 squat racks and some floor space with volleyballs thrown at you when you're trying to max out clean and jerk.
Yeah.
To we came up here, and you would always. I was telling some of your strongmen, you would always try to like, and I'm not a very like audible learner. I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
So you try to like map out your dream of what you wanted the space to be. It's like, I want some platforms here. So we built some platforms.
Yeah.
And we went and got a reverse hyper. We went and got an incline bench.
Yep.
Because I painted some of the sons of bitches.
Yeah,
They're still my paint job.
The incline bench, the for sure the rack, the
pull
bump,
down,
the pull down, the bumper
yep.
Holder. I mean, they're still holding up. Both the black benches that we put the fat pads on.
Yep. So, and then seeing like the Olympic weightlifting side grow. And then I think that year you made nationals?
Yeah, so I mean, that was like the first year that I really took it seriously.
You started pushing the
because it was like CrossFit and stuff, but then I was like, I'm kind of getting over CrossFit just because we had a falling out at the other gym.
Well, hey, you're the biggest CrossFitter ever.
Well, yeah, I was like the biggest guy at regionals ever. Like, there were some guys that were probably a little bit taller, maybe a little bit thicker, but shorter, but nobody was really 6'2", over 230.
Hang clean 400 at beach brawl.
Yeah, doing what I was doing. So, like, it just took a little toll on my body. And plus, like, business was growing. So it was a lot easier to just lift weights and be strong than do the CrossFit stuff. But yeah, I think it was the American Open that year. We made we went to the American Open that year.
Yep.
Didn't go to nationals that year. I had family stuff I had to take care of in July. But yeah, so we just started training, and then like 3 months later, when got some hardware from national or American Open, second meet.
A little bit harder. So from there, right, the growth of the gym coming back, and I think you had a couple of mixed match dumbbells because we've moved everything like 2 or 3 times, particularly like the dumbbells and stuff.
Yeah.
Take everything outside, bring it back in. And then just walking in here and realizing like the space behind me, the Olympic weightlifting side, and then grown into like kind of the GPP strength training stuff.
Yeah.
All your squat cages. And then I don't even know if you've given like a virtual tour, but the other side of the camera is like all the bodybuilding stuff on the other side of the CrossFit. Yeah. And man, as an old school, not even that old school, but somebody who
likes that vibe,
loves this stuff, right? Like to see old school, like a Magnum pec deck that like articulates in the handle, it's just so cool. And, the stack is so small, like the cable and the chain system is so like it's just classic. It's old school stuff that like is still entirely functional, which is incredible to train on. It's so fun. And then you got new stuff like that hammer stick and that lead FTS leg press, which is maybe the double gravity heaviest thing on earth.
Yeah, the leg press is pretty rough, but yeah, it's pretty crazy just from when you left. When we were up here, and just
my
how
journey's
things
been wild,
and just like how everything was set up, and then now things are in similar areas, but they've expanded to like now we have 12 platforms here. The powerlifting area is like straight powerlifting, like dumbbells up to 175. When before it was like up to maybe 100. We had just 3 squat racks on that platform I built. Remember?
No real monolift, just like the tight.
No, we had the attachments, and now we have a true monolift and Elite FTS one.
A true competition bench.
We had no machines at all.
Kind of a pull down that if you.
We had Colton's pull down.
It didn't even have a knee pad.
Yeah, so we had Colton's pull down, but that was the only machine we had. Now we have a whole 9. It's like I think it's maybe 8,000 square feet, a little over, of just machines and some strongman stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And always looking to add and do different things like that. But so you came back to the gym, kind of heard like your thoughts of like just how it's expanded and where it came from. But let's talk a little bit about where you came from with your training, because you've kind of done it all. I feel like you before you came to us back 3-4 years ago.
Right.
You were heavily into weightlifting, but before that, you fought in MMA or kickboxing or Thai, one of the disciplines.
Correct.
You did that for a while, and then you did a little bit of CrossFit, I think.
Correct.
And then now you're really into the bodybuilding, just strictly getting super strong and just getting swole and jacked.
Yes.
Which you always wanted to do in weightlifting, but you never could because you had mobility issues with your elbow and shoulder. So, like, it always hindered you, and I feel like it was always in the back of your head, like, fuck, I really want to get fucking strong and jacked, but I know if I do that, my mobility on my one arm is shit. So, like, I got to be smart about it. So let's kind of talk about, where you started, like, with your training and kind of how it's evolved over the past, 5 to 15 years,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the guys at the gym, I live in Knoxville now, a lot of the guys that will come up to us, younger gentlemen, especially because my training partner is physically, like, daunting. He's huge.
Yeah.
That people want to know what the secret is. Like, I just have a decade of not missing a day.
Yeah.
It's not been the same thing, but I literally, unless I've been sick, injured, or something, like, I don't take time off.
Yeah.
Other than, like, a week, whatever, a normal rotation. So college was just too small to play football. And started, it's kind of right when The Ultimate Fighter came out.
Yeah.
2006, 7.
Yep.
And started really just sparring with guys at a racquetball court.
Yeah. At
Appalachian State in Boone, North Carolina. And then came back after a semester, and there were like a whole new class of younger kids just fighting. And like on a basketball court, like, hey, who are you guys? Like, do you know that we do this? Like, we schedule it. So we kind of grew that little thing into being a university-sponsored club sport where we would teach jiu-jitsu and kickboxing as a fitness class.
Yeah.
Competed in MMA during that time for 2 cage fights, went 1-1. They're on YouTube somewhere at like 155 pounds.
Yeah, no, I think they're still on your Facebook, or there's some
somewhere.
Videos like you have to go deep.
You gotta go deep. And the annuals.
Yeah.
Deep in the annuals. But yeah, I was 155 pounds at 6 foot, roughly.
Yeah.
6'1", 210, 205 right now, cutting.
Yeah.
So went 1-1 in MMA and had really no desire to I got wrestle fucked. I got like schoolyard headlock and just fall forward for 3 rounds. I was like, well, I'm gonna go fight a guy. So I went to Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And found success in 2011, won a national title at the WK as an amateur kickboxer. Muay Thai fighter. And the amateur only really difference is we had to wear headgear. We couldn't throw elbows.
Yeah.
So it took away half my game.
Yeah.
We were ready to go in there and throw elbows and knees, but couldn't do that to the face. So I realized at that point, man, I'm poor. I can't even really afford the full tray at Cookout. I can just get the hot dog.
Yeah.
So I went to work and decided, well, I'm used to fighting men. Let me fight the barbell. And that's when CrossFit was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And everybody with a great physique was a CrossFitter, apparently. So I did CrossFit for a little bit. And I had a guy who would pay my membership because I was personal training him.
Yeah.
That evaporated where I couldn't really continue to train for free anymore. So started, and like most people who go to CrossFit who just want to be strong, found weightlifting and realized, well, this is fun.
Yeah.
And then at that point started training with Travis Mash in North Carolina, and really got exposed to the culture of weightlifting. And I love my time at Mash for this. I was there with Tom Suma, Nathan Damron, Dylan Cooper.
And I think people should know this is kind of when those two, especially like Damron and Cooper, and Suma still lifts, but like
he's in the shadows. He's like Dorian Yates.
And like I know Dylan Cooper says he's retired for now, but he'll probably come back. And everybody always comes back, but
he's focused on coaching.
Damron and Cooper, that's when before they really took off. Like so, you were there like when they not first started weightlifting, but when they first were really competing, I think at a higher level, so you saw where they started to where now you see where they're at. Like,
well, what really, which not to just, it's your podcast, not to just kind of toot your horn, but what you've almost done where you gave people a chance. And I learned this from Trav, which is how we got connected. We should say that you are a remote athlete from Ash Elite.
Yeah.
I saw Travis give these kids an opportunity to be pro athletes.
Yeah.
He took away a lot of the expenses that keep people that knocked me out of fighting because I had to go pay rent. Yeah. So he gave these kids a chance to focus on one discipline and let them excel. Yeah. And man, I love him for that because it was cool to see. Yeah. Because he took a risk and a big financial shot to be like, hey, I'm just going to pay for you guys to train and compete. Yeah. So everyone evolves. So everyone does different things. So trained that for quite a while, and then took a different position in my job, which brought me down here. Yeah. And at that point, my elbow was kind of already trash. So I came down here, and we went really back to the roots of like just trying to get brutally strong. Yeah. Like, me and Cody were joking. Remember we did a summer of banded chain Jefferson squat, or Anderson squats.
We did a lot of crazy strong stuff back in the day when we were younger, when we could actually recover.
Building the base of it. Though, yeah. So when we could actually recover from it. So I did that for a bit, competed with AMP for I think 1 or 2 meets, and then when I moved again to Tennessee, tried to pursue. I think by the time I was leaving here, I was kind of already done with the elbow issues.
Yeah, I think you were tired. It was just a constant where when you first started, even like the first year of training down here, like it would bother you, we knew, but like you always would push through it and get through it. But then at a certain point, like it just got to the point where you're like, fuck, like it's not even fun anymore because you're just missing like on cleans and stuff, just not because you're weak, because like it hurts.
You can't get for the video viewers, like here's a good elbow, there's my bad elbow. Yeah. Imagine trying to put a front rack in there.
And I don't know if it's still online. I mean, I'm sure it's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
But there's a video that went viral.
Yes.
When you were, I guess, doing a meet down at Mass or something.
Out of step barbell in Greensboro.
So you did a clean, and you're like, because it was so bad, your hand came off and literally smacked you in the face, like not
like
just
Charlie Murphy,
like legit, like smacked him in the face.
Chalk cloud.
And that would happen probably once a week here, and then. But at the end, it was like almost every day, it was happening.
I hit my heaviest clean of all time in Knoxville, a 315 zombie clean, no hands, and almost tried to re-rack it. It wasn't brave.
Well, that's the thing. Like I don't think people realize like before you gave it up, like you were even when that would happen, you would still stand it up, you would pop it, re-rack it, and go for the jerk. Yeah. Just because you wanted to make the lift, like you didn't give a shit.
And it's legal. I mean, as long as you
still grind it through, popping it up, making the lift. And trying the jerk,
which is funny because that's a skill that you absolutely learn. Like I can zombie clean and have no pain or no fear of it crashing my collarbones because it just transitions there. But anyway, decided that man, I've got to keep training, and this is where I'm really struggling currently because it's nice to compete in things. Yeah, it gives you something to train for. Right now, I'm just trying to look great naked. Yeah, and it's a weird thing. Like I don't really want to be a bodybuilder yet. Yeah, my friends are working on me, but. I have no desire to get on stage. As soon as I start losing weight, like I'm in a little bit of a cut right now, I start thinking I can get down to 185 and just go whoop somebody's ass. Yeah. But I don't have that skill anymore either.
No, for sure.
But so transitioning, and this is one thing I've talked about with a lot of my weightlifters, is when you quit weightlifting, you have the ability to start training your accessories, not as accessories, but you're training them. Yeah. So you start pushing form range of motion,
Yeah.
standardizing a lift, and then getting brutally strong at like an incline press
Yeah.
or a single arm pull down. And your physique goes nuts because it's not a secondary thought anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Weightlifting, like you're going to snatch, clean and jerk, pull and squat. And then if you go do some pump work, it's great for the joints. It's
Yeah.
Great training session. Go eat some food.
But you're usually pretty blown out, especially depending on the programming you're on. Like, when we were doing stuff and when you were doing master stuff, I mean, it was the volume was high and the intensity was high. So once you were done with just the main stuff and then the squat or pulls, you were fucking smoked. Like, good luck going to do some auxiliaries. Like, you didn't want to do anything.
You want me to do fake? Go fuck yourself. You want me to go do face pulls?
Yeah, like
it's not gonna
you're
happen.
done after that. Where now, you can focus on the mind-body connection, you could say, or like really focus on quality reps, range of motion, which is then, going to tear the muscle down, build it back up, build it up better, rather than just being like looking athletic. Now you're going to look big and strong and lean because the bellies are fuller and everything like that.
Exactly. You're pushing blood and nutrients. So anyone who's getting into this game or any of your athletes that are like on the verge of realizing you're not going to be a great weightlifter, which was hard for me because I came from being a national champion and realized I could be great at anything if I applied myself.
Yeah.
That's not true. If you start weightlifting at 24, you're not going to be great.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. So started to really readdress training as almost like cheaper than therapy. It is the thing I'm going to do every day. I'm going to do it to my best ability. So how can I take my exercise science degree and apply it to this physique work?
Yeah.
Range of motion, standardizing, progressive overload's king. So you can't do a progressive overload model if every one of your reps looks different.
Yeah.
Right. So there's been a huge transition, especially working out and training with a real bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And
just the mindset too, probably.
Absolutely, because we take a real DC style, like old school Dorian Yates approach. I was telling Cody, like we're mostly doing 3 to 4 movements, 3 top sets to absolute failure.
Yeah.
Like for my RP fans, and I've done a lot of studying the Renaissance periodization model, and I love those guys because they're big range of motion fans.
Yeah.
I did a few mesocycles and stuff of like RER style training, and the results, it's not for me. Right?
No, and I think.
But I'll do a bro split though, so I'm not doing. Sorry to cut you off. I'm not doing. For me, it's not motivating to go to the gym and know that I've got 2 sets of hamstrings, a set of lateral delts, and then 2 sets of push downs. I want to know I'm going in to do back, and I'm going to destroy my back.
I think also too, when it comes to the RPE, when you're a former athlete, if someone puts like a number on something, not like a rep number, but like a feeling number, like you don't. That's like what it all fucking hurts, but I can grind through it. So what? So like an 8 one day, like could feel like you don't really know. Like I don't like RP because like once you put 500 pounds in your back, it doesn't matter if I can do it for 10 reps or 5 reps. It feels the exact same.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's gonna. So that's why I mean, like when I do my auxiliaries, I do the old school high intensity training, like Dorian Yates. And like we started with the knowledge machines because like you go to failure, like you're going to have muscle damage, you're going to get bigger, like without a doubt, like you're going to failure.
And you have all of the intensity variables. You have the drop sets, you have rest pause, you have super.
You can change it how you want, and like really the volume is not so much where it's going to kill you because you're doing like you said 2 to 3 true working sets, if that.
Exactly.
Like some days it might be 1 working set, even though
and a back down set.
You have your warm up sets and a back down set, but you have 1 set that's going to crush you, and then you have your back down sets.
And your muscle doesn't know, right? So even it's like that hammer strength machine is a perfect example of it. You'll get to 9 reps and really be struggling, but you can still do partial range of motion, which a lot of people start doing without needing to do it. But if you apply it in the right direction, in the right circumstances, your muscle doesn't know it's not making a full contraction. It's still producing force.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, and this is how these 3 letters is how I've reinvented my training, which is control, style, and grace.
Yeah.
Having control, being able to standardize range of motion, and really control over your emotions. Because we're amped up lifters. This is amp performance, baby.
Yeah.
So like I've really had to take a time to slow down. And I do a lot of my working sets now with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the attention.
Yeah, you just
I want to calm my heart rate
Yep.
down, and then be able to put force through my back, my quads, whatever's working. Control.
But that's what you said. I think the big word is control is a lot different with what you're doing now. If you're squatting now, if you're doing 5x5 4 years ago, you're doing 5x5
right,
now.
riding the bounce, getting whipped on by the bar just to produce as much output from your leg system.
Yeah.
Right now, I really want like a quad to move or a hamstring to pull or to work.
Yeah.
So style, right? Can you produce a rep in a set that looks aesthetically pleasing? Because you're not all over the place. You're not going crazy.
Yeah.
You're not throwing up and spitting. You're working. And then control, style, and grace. Can you have the ability to work through 11 hard reps and stay calm, knowing that you've got to stay patient for those last 3 reps. For the ones that are going to absolutely fuck you.
The ones that are actually going to do the damage. That are going to do the work for you. Make the progress happen.
We'll do an hour worth of a workout to get to 2 reps.
Yeah.
To 2 freaking reps over 3 sets. The ones that are absolutely brutal that I actually didn't get last week.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the entire key.
Here you go. Here's a question for you. With what you're doing now, and since you've gone a full 2 years, 3 years into this style of training, I know you probably don't have it maxed in a while, but say your squat now versus your squat when you were weightlifting, what would you bring now back to there and from there back to now to think be the strongest squat, since you've done 2 different styles? One, produce force as fast as possible, as quickly as possible, and now it's contracting, quality reps. Your mobility is probably way better, and I feel like you're way stronger just watching your videos. I'm like, damn, Travis is hack squatting 4 plates on 270. Was 4 plates 360 just in plates, right? Right? Or is that that's 270 with 4 plates, right?
I just count it like it's a barbell though.
But anyway, so if you have 4 plates, I mean we're
doing reverse 6-plate reverse banded.
You know what I mean? So you're doing a lot more weight than you did prior.
Tremendous.
But it's also you've been 3 years of quality.
Exactly.
So
if I came back to squatting, I haven't squatted in a while, but I was building up to a 405 set Smith squatting because it's a little bit more stable. And I was ready for the lights to go off.
Yeah.
I was going to take this for 11, 12 reps, and I can never do a set of 10 with 405. I mean, now, granted, it's a Smith machine. But I don't know. I think I would approach my warm-up sets completely differently, as opposed to taking 60 kilos, 100 kilos.
Yeah, go play jumps.
Yeah. and just maybe bounce out of a couple reps. I think I would take a tremendously different approach on my build-up sets.
Yeah.
And then probably, I bet those top heavy attempts would be so much more damaging as far as a pump or actually, I mean, because a lot of times, we're both tall. We get bent over, and that squat becomes like a good morning variation.
And you don't quite get it. You don't get quite as low, and that's what people don't realize too, especially when you're high barring and you're 6'2", and you are going low, but if you have decent range of motion, your knees are going so far forward that it's you're hitting 90, but damn, am I really as low as I need to be because you have good mobility from being a weightlifter,
Yeah, and you got those knees travel forward, those hips travel back. That's a lot of movement as opposed to my fiance, Mandy, who can just bloop.
Or like Cody.
Or Cody, who can just unlock their knees and they're back at the top already. Yeah, it's a completely different approach. Is there a better one? I don't know. I think God bless anyone who trains. That's what I love about this. Walking in here and just seeing every person who loves to get underneath a barbell has a home, which is cool. Yeah. You don't have that in my gym.
So here you go. Here's a better question then. What if you were going to coach a weightlift? Someone came to you, saw you at the gym, was, hey, Trav, I do weightlifting. I have a coach for weightlifting, but he just coaches me in the class, clean and jerk and snatch. Can you help me get stronger on my squat? What would you take from 5 years ago to now into amalgamation to teach them how to squat better, to get the most out of it, you think, as an athlete, while getting stronger but quality reps? Yeah. So maybe that transfers to when they stand up to clean, that they're more vertical because the control is better. What would you take from?
That's a great question, man. I think deep water. I think I'd take somebody through a brutal training session just to, not that we didn't do it with weightlifting, but it's one of those things there you would either miss a squat or you miss a pull, you miss a clean, and it's fine. Take them into real deep water to realize, man, these sets and these sessions are long. And it's going to be a lot more beneficial when you realize that you have that work capacity underneath you, because we weren't in shape. Yeah, I wasn't in shape weightlifter.
And I think that's one thing that I'm lacking now. And even though my shoulder's been torn for 2 years, even though I got surgery now, but I think the one thing was lacking from my first 2 big meets, my second meet, the American Open, where I got bronze, and then I guess it would have been the American Open Series 3 where when I got gold, and everything was my capacity was a lot higher because I still had that CrossFit base.
Right. Yeah.
And then after that, not that I did so much CrossFit that whole year, but I still did a little bit some Metcons just for volume and capacity, because I was doing EMOMs with 315 snatch and then 90-second EMOMs with 4 or 5 clean and jerk, right, for sets of 10, or singles for 10 sets. And I was going 80 to 100, making majority of the lifts, make 8 out of 9 of them. But now, I got brutally strong and really efficient with my lifting, but my capacity was so low, fuck. give me like 5 minutes before I do another rep, you know? And I think that's one thing people have to realize. You just can't train a certain one way. Even though that's your discipline, you have to take other disciplines, make them your own, because like you said, you go take someone in deep water where they're doing maybe the 20 rep squat max. Like can you get through that without being a bitch?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can you get through that? And then if you can get through that, then hey, now that's use
a learning experience.
You know,
if you can, that is a eye-opening learning experience. Let me ask you a question though. How does it feel to like have an actual like vision, like we talked about earlier? Because you used to like, oh man, I want like this over here and turn that into like a little lounge. I'm gonna have this little like office.
Yeah.
Space. How does it feel to like after 3 years of piece by piece putting this thing together that it's not even done yet, but you kind of did it?
I mean, it feels good. I mean, like it's still not where I want it. Of course, it's never gonna be where you want it.
It'll never be.
It'll never where you want it. But like just seeing where it's came from when I was at the original gym when nobody was at except for Chase and when he was in college, and some of the kids to down there to where, all right, I took over like a CrossFit gym that went out of business, kind of had their stuff, built my own stuff, and then we started having some money come in. Then we bought some racks, some plates, put down plywood for platforms, things like that. Then we finally moved up here to where we had about, I would say, 10,000 square feet-ish of stuff. And I was like, hey, this is the vision. This is what I want. And not everything always comes to fruition, like with a CrossFit class or adult classes. But what I realized with the gym when it comes to that aspect is you kind of just have to go with the flow, and you can't force things to happen. Like we wanted this class, like we call it strength WOD. Like you're on the picture of like the flyers we made for the strength WOD class. And like it was a really good class and a really good idea, but without having the CrossFit name on it, it wasn't going to grow. Just because people, if they were going to come to a group class, they want a CrossFit or now like a F45 or Fit Body Bootcamp style. They want the brand, right? So once I realized that that wasn't going to happen, then I was like, well, what are most people doing in here? Mm-hmm. Kind of doing their own thing, unless they're doing like my programming, like in the kids class. So like, let's transition to an open gym format, get more gym members, get more equipment so more people come. Then it's like, well, we have this, and I had some strongmen reach out to me because they were tired of the YMCA because they couldn't do what they wanted to do. They just kept bullshitting them. They kept fucking with them. So I was like, you know what? I'll build you a strongman area. You guys come and just bring people. That's all I care about. Just sign up, bring people. I'll get the equipment. And from there, it's just grown. Then now we have all the machines now. Now we're getting more just general fitness, not so many powerlifters, strongmen. You're just getting moms, dads coming in to work out. And then now the weightlifting's finally starting to pick up from when we first started. It was crazy. Like that was all we had. We had pretty much just weightlifters in here. Even though not everybody competed, everybody was just doing weightlifting. Right. And then now the weightlifting's starting to pick up again. We have a youth and a junior going to the Arnold. We would have Bacon going as a masters, but he hurt himself. So that's picking up. We have a couple other guys who come in every day and train. A couple ladies who do it every day who are going to compete soon. But
that's a testament too. Is the young Tristan.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh yeah, you were here when he first started the kids class.
He was a child. Anyway, he's still a child, but he was a young child. And parents, hopefully you reach out to the professionals in your area when you want to train your children and make them great athletes. Understand that all great athletes are multi-sport athletes. So you look at Tristan. He got into wrestling, and it elevated his weightlifting.
100%.
Kid's got a neck now. He's on neck and traps. And he's 16 years old. He just clean and jerked 300 pounds.
And I think when he found the wrestling, it elevated his weightlifting too because he got more confidence because he hated football. Like he played it because for his parents, I think, but he hated football. He didn't like the coaches. He didn't like football. He just didn't fucking like it. He hated it. He didn't give a shit. Just like, dude, you're doing all this in here when we're running and jumping that I see on the football field. You're not even trying.
Did he try in wrestling?
Oh, dude, wrestling like completely. Like he talks shit now. Like he's not quiet. Like he'll talk shit. He'll like fucking slam somebody. Like, but that attitude from
wrestling
that
builds men, man.
Transferred to the platform to now, like he's confident. Like when he misses a lift, he gets fucking pissed, and he never used to do that. It happened at the meet probably a couple months ago. He missed a He didn't do it. I asked him. I said, "Hey, this is what I want to do, but if you don't feel confident, we can do this, right?" For like his third attempt, and he got pissed because he was like, "I should have fucking done what you told me." Mm-hmm. And when he misses lifts in here now, he gets fucking pissed. Where before he was whatever, like he'll slam his belt, like he'll get fucking show emotion for the first time ever. But it's from like the wrestling showing him bringing that out of him. You know what I'm saying?
You can't be a great wrestler, and you can't really train. Maybe you can, because I wrestled for 2 years and then quit, but I don't know if you can train wrestling without heart.
No, you gotta have that,
and because it
sucks. It's hard.
So you gotta have heart.
Yeah.
So it's a great example of sticking with a coach who cares about not the production, but the performance and the growth of the athlete. Because he has turned into he's going to be
from a little goober,
phenom.
Little skinny goober who was had mobility, but was a little doughboy. Now look at him.
He'll be a phenom at 24. He's going to be bodied up.
That's the thing. Keep him training, and hopefully he stays around here for school when he goes off to college and just keeps. So then he can just focus on training.
Well, think about how we open the conversation. The best advice I give to people that ask me how I even got somewhere to where I'm at today is I have a decade of not missing a day.
Yeah.
This kid's 16. He's got 6 years in his
belt
already.
That's the thing. He never, and the only time he missed was during football season, and he still came a couple times a week.
Still training.
And now with wrestling, he comes. During wrestling, he would have weights at school, wrestling practice, and then he would come 3 days a week here.
Multi-sport athlete.
You know what I'm saying? So he would train 3 times a day, at least 3 times a week.
Now imagine when he's 21.
Yeah.
The base he has underneath him.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You find someone like that who's not the most gifted LeBron James style phenom, and just the work, the work's been done. And once you develop and accept the fact that I'm just going to be working hard at this my whole life, sky's the limit. It's awesome to see. It really is awesome to see.
Well, let's call it there. We'll do part 2 tomorrow.
We got Mardi Gras to get to.
Yeah, guys. We got Mardi Gras stuff we have to do. We'll do part 2 tomorrow, and let's talk more just about programming and mindset, just from weightlifting to bodybuilding, because we got into it, but we kind of just had a broad conversation just of kind of where you've been, what you're doing. So next time we'll talk about that, and don't forget to subscribe, download, all that good stuff.
Do a quick plug. I have our own podcast where we're going to cross-pollinate the training log, which is literally just me and my partner going through the work that we did to hopefully teach you guys, if you're interested in a hypertrophy style approach, this is how we do it. It's not always the right answers, but it's at least you have some direction if you don't have a coach there with you. So
and give them your Instagram, because Cody said it 1,000 times on the other podcast, but now it's your turn to say it.
Trav Goes Lifting, and if you're into fly fishing, overland camping, shooting, Trav Goes Outdoors. Pretty simple.
All right, guys. See y'all next time.